Hi, Capstone students. If you have already passed several sections or your entire literature review, this is not a video that you need to listen to. So this is only for students who are still struggling to create um, literature review sections that meet the requirements and that then they can move on to subsequent sections. This is an example of student work that I want to share with you. The highlighting is going to show you some of the different pieces that need to be involved in order to argue the point and review the literature completely. The yellow highlights are the author being brought into the literature review section. Okay, and you can see that there's three different studies that are being discussed. One of the authors did a 2013 and a 2015 study. Um, and so that's why there's two Glocks. And then there's also Archibald and Kelcher, and then it continues on with Park and Datnow. So there's four studies being discussed in this one section. Um, then when you look at the light bluish color, um, that is where you're getting results. So that's when we're talking about the study itself. According to these findings, what are the results of the study? And then I also highlighted in green um, the transitional words where studies were being interacted with each other in the synthesis to make the points shine through and to um, basically support the thesis and the hypothesis from the introduction. Okay, all right, so let's slowly go through it. In this study by Glock et al. 2013, 54 teachers were assigned to place students in one of three difficulty level tracks based on student profiles, which had been manipulated to highlight the ethnic backgrounds of each student explicitly. So there is a very good discussion of what this study was designed to do. Then the student goes on. Each profile contained performance-related information, such as school grades, test scores, work and learning habits, along with non-performance related information, including ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and gender. So this is basically from the annotated bibliography. This was the information that was pulled out from the study. According to the findings, students without immigrant backgrounds are most often recommended for the most challenging mathematics track. So there is basically the bottom line of the study. Moreover, the teachers often referred to both performance-related and non-performance-related information when considering the mathematics placement of students with immigrant backgrounds. So the moreover is linking the information. It's expanding on that information so that you have, according to the findings, and also other things that were found. Here's where it kind of is tied up in a little bow. This phenomenon discovered by Glock indicates that the inclusion of non-performance related information on student profiles can bias the placement process. And that year is then stated there because if you come up, it mentioned here the author and then here the date. So similar findings were later uncovered by Glock et al. 2015. So this is a different study, even though it is by the same researcher. The student goes on to explain that study, again with actual data from the study and the results. And then in contrast, it was found, so within that study, there was one result, but then some other things were found out. And then the student explains, in other words, basically the bottom line, this is true about teacher placement accuracy. Then it continues to go on with another study. The research of Archibald and Kelcher in 2008 stands in contradiction to these two previously discussed studies. So you're taking two studies, okay, and now you're bringing in another voice, and this voice happens to contradict it. So this statement ties it all together. While this study suggested the consideration of non-performance data, the research of Archibald and Kelcher recommended that the teacher consider the whole student by studying student to make course recommendations. Okay. By synthesizing the literature, it would be wise. So by taking all of these studies together, teachers should, and this is where the author, our student author, kind of comes into the paper. Basically, by taking all of this into account, they really need to make different choices when they're assessing whether the student would fit into the course. And then goes on with another study that also studied the types of data that teachers use. Okay, so you've got a fourth voice coming into this section. And there's a transitional word discussing that it is a qualitative study. Here's all the data about that study, and the paragraph is wound out. I didn't leave everything in here. I just pulled it out and kind of cut and pasted it very quickly into a separate Word document just to walk you through this. I will upload this document and the video to Blackboard now in case you want to use it. So I hope that helps as you continue to design your literature review, whether it's your whole capstone or a piece of your action, research, or school improvement plan. I'm thinking of you guys and struggling to get your work back to you as soon as possible so that you can continue to edit and work, and of course praying for you daily. Take care.